Hello and welcome to this How To Trophies 100% completion guide. I'm Dan and today we're looking at Super Toy Cars 2. So unsurprisingly, Super Toy Cars 2 is a sequel to the original Super Toy Cars game and follows much of the same line and has much of the same physics except for the drift mechanics, which are very different in this game, which threw me off initially when I first played it. We'll start with the first couple of trophies. So the first one is to use 10 power-ups. I did have some problems with this game and the trophies unlocking, so I did have to restart my console and then reload up the game, and that seemed to work in terms of getting it to unlock the trophies properly. So shortly I'll unlock the trophy trying power-ups, and then we'll go for the first win trophy, which is the next one. So shortly we'll unlock the first victory trophy, which is obviously for the first time you win in the career mode. If you watched the guide for the previous game, you'll realise that the structure of this game is very different in terms of the championship to the last game. Whereas the previous game you just earned points for each race, in this one it's more of a championship format, so you don't need to finish first in every single race in order to win the championship. This will come in useful in later rounds, as there are some events that are just really hard to win. The Destruction Derby was particularly one of my least favourite events, and this one was nearly impossible for me to win in career mode. In fact, I didn't win it in career mode, I actually ended up having to complete it right at the end of the game, as you'll see towards the end of this guide. So now we're working towards the third trophy that I managed to unlock, and that is for using 100 power-ups. It's simple, just collect as many power-ups as you can and use them. I guess it doesn't matter if you hit people, it's just to use 100 power-ups. So just make sure you're collecting one every time, or this should come naturally throughout as you play the game. You'll shortly see the power-ups expert trophy unlock, and then we'll start to work towards the following trophy, which I've got as upgrading one car fully. Again, unlike the previous Super Toy Cars game, you don't need to upgrade every single car to get a trophy, so I will upgrade pretty much the first one I get, and then we'll just go from there. I will end up fully upgrading most of them, just because you do get a lot more coins than you need. Just continue to win races and pile up those coins, and eventually you'll have enough to buy all of the upgrades. So here you can see I'm using the Springfield car, and this will be the one that I fully upgrade in order to unlock this trophy. The championships are divided into different sections, so each car has its own set category, so like muscle car for example, or supercar. So you will need to end up buying at least one car in each category, and therefore it tends to be the worst car you buy first, so then you either upgrade it or buy the next car, which you'll end up doing anyway, so I wouldn't worry about that. There's plenty of points on offer to unlock all of the cars, and that shouldn't be a problem. There will be a little bit of grinding to be done at the end, but nothing like the previous title that we had to for the 500 miles trophy. Just so I've got a little bit of time while we're working towards this trophy, please remember to like, share or subscribe to us here at How To Trophies. Leave us a comment in the comment section below if you really enjoyed this video, or leave us a comment if you really didn't enjoy this video. We like all your feedback and we'll react accordingly. Not in a bad way, we're not going to send you hate mail or anything, but we will try and improve the videos if there's something you really don't like about what we're doing. You can also follow us on social media, where you can also send us the same abuse or nice comments. Nice comments please only. That would be at How To Trophies on X or on Facebook, or also on PSN, where we'd like to build a little following so we can do some multiplayer games, hopefully soon. So for each championship you go into, there's a specific set of races for that championship. Usually it's a mix of race, death race, clean race, elimination. There is the odd destruction derby in there, but not many. And there's also a destruction type of race where you are destroying other cars. You have to destroy the most amount of cars. This one can be really annoying too. So when we get later in the video, we'll talk about that. Now we've earned the money and we're fully upgrading our Springfield all the way to the top, so the trophy will pop shortly, just as we apply that last upgrade, and then we'll be working towards the next trophy in this roadmap. So as mentioned previously, you'll need to buy one car in each class to complete in the championships anyway, so this will come naturally. So after this after this race we dive into the menu to buy the cars. You can helpfully filter using the square button, so that will filter by type of car. This will allow you to ensure that you've bought at least one of each type, and then you can move on to the tournaments that are for the relevant cars. So once you've bought one of all of the categories, then the trophy will unlock and you can move on to doing the next one. Of the 16 trophies that we will unlock in this game, all of them will be mostly through natural progression. There is one local multiplayer trophy where you'll have to have 2 pads, and then I also choose to do another couple of the trophies via the 2-player method just to make them a little bit easier. So we'll go through those towards the end of the video, and then we'll end up doing the grind for the 100 races, which will be the final trophy that we'll unlock. Again, there is no platinum for this particular game. I don't know why. It has enough trophies and it's a long enough game, so in theory it should really have a platinum trophy. I needed around 40,000 coins in order to finish off my car collection and unlock the trophy. So I guess you would need about that depending on what cars and upgrades you've bought previously. So I'd aim for maybe around the 60,000 mark in total in cash before you can actually complete this. Next we'll move into a specific trophy for destroying 100 cars, and the trophy is called, quite obviously, Destructor. Now this will be really hard to do if you had to destroy the actual player cars, but thankfully there is actually a game mode where you play and you crash into what essentially are weaker cars, and you have to crash into as many as possible and more than your opponents in order to win. In this mode you can crash into quite a lot in one go, so I think I did upwards of 25 a couple of times, which really helps you towards getting this trophy quite early on, depending on which order you do the championships in, because it depends what cars you buy to start with as to what championships are available. So you're not forced to do the championships in the same order as I do them. Certainly on the top line they're all category specific, so you will do them maybe in a different order to what I've done them in. So the next 2 trophies, or the next 3 trophies, are actually based on just completing the career mode. So you get a trophy for unlocking half of the cups, so that once the top row is completed, you will unlock that trophy. Then there is a further trophy for unlocking the last cup, which is the last one on the bottom line at the far right. So these are the next 2 trophies that I'll do, and then the third one will be to complete that final cup. So we should get those fairly quickly after about maybe 1.5 hours of gameplay. This game should take you around the 3 to 4 hour mark to complete, depending on your skill and your luck, I guess. As the All Cups available trophy unlocks, we will go for our next one, which is one that is also in the first game, which is 500 miles. But thankfully the tracks are much longer in this game and you do them a lot quicker, so therefore this 500 miles trophy actually comes up as you just play naturally through the mode, actually through the championship mode, rather than like in the other game you had to grind at the end. Like I said, there will be a grind at the end for the 100 races, but this 500 miles trophy is definitely a lot easier in this game than it was in the previous one. So yeah, this one should just come very naturally as you play through. And the next trophy we will go for will be to unlock all of the cars in the career mode. So that is where we buy every car from every category. I have around 420,000 coins when I go to do this. And I manage with just a few thousand coins left at the end. Some of the cars are very expensive. You can choose, I guess, to buy these as you go along. But when you buy them, it changes you into them. So I chose not to do that and just continue with the car I was happy with until I'd finished all of the races that I really needed to. And then just went and bought them all in one big bulk. At this point, rather than filtering with the square button while you're in your garage, it's probably easier just to be on all categories and just keep buying the next car that comes up. until eventually you'll get a screen that tells you you've bought all the cars, and then the trophy should naturally unlock, which should just be coming up in a few seconds now. There we are, the trophy is unlocked, you've bought that final car, and we'll move on to the next one, which is to finish all of the cups in the career mode. Well, it actually says earn all the points in career mode, which confused me a little bit to start with, because I wondered whether I needed to win every single race in every single cup in order to unlock this trophy, but that is not the case. All you have to do is win each of the particular tournaments, and this is the end one, which will unlock this trophy. So yeah, don't worry about if you don't win a particular race within a tournament but still win the tournament, you find that won't invalidate this trophy. As you could probably tell, I do really enjoy these type of games, having reviewed a few of them now on the channel. So I'm hoping that there'll be some more games coming out soon. I know there is a third version of this game called Super Toy Cars Off-Road or something similar to that. So I might look to pick that up if I find it in a sale or for a decent price and see what that's like. Once these races are done, you will have completed the career mode. You may well have won a destruction derby, and you may well have exploded as you go over the finish line. Those two trophies can obviously be done in the career mode, but it just didn't happen for me within this actual mode itself, so we'll do those at the end with the SOCIALIZE trophy as well, which is for playing a local 2-player match. So therefore you do need a second controller, so maybe ask a friend round if you don't have a controller of your own, just to complete that particular trophy objective. I do like that there's more variety in this second game than there is in the first. As I said, some of the game modes aren't my favourite, but it's better than the first game where there just wasn't really that much variety in the particular game modes that you were playing. So that's the finish of the final race there. I didn't even win it, to be fair, but the trophy unlocks just to show you that you don't need to finish first in every single race. And now we'll move on to the SOCIALIZE trophy. So simply connect your second controller, and I chose Destruction Derby because I was hoping that I could win it and sneakily get 2 trophies in one. But a bit of a spoiler alert, I don't manage to do that, so we'll have to do that in a separate bit of the video. There are only 2 Destruction Derby courses, the bowl and the grinder, so I really didn't like the bowl at all, so I went for the grinder. Not that I had much better luck in this, but simply complete the game. You don't have to win, just complete the game with a second player and it'll simply unlock the trophy. I certainly didn't win this Destruction Derby. I think I came nearly at the bottom with only 1 destruction. My main issue was that even when I crashed into people, they didn't really do any damage. So you're kind of relying on the pickups throughout the game in order to do the damage, and I didn't tend to get that many very good pickups. So maybe it just takes a little bit more practice, or maybe I'm just not very good at it. Who knows? I did used to play Destruction Derby 2 on the original PlayStation. Shout out to that game. What a great game that was. So while I've got 2 controllers, I also wanted to do the Epic Finish trophy because it wasn't working in any normal play for me to explode as I crossed the line. So my idea or my thought behind it was that I would park one of the cars near the finish line, then shoot a missile at my car in order to blow it up as I went across the line. So I picked the first course as it's nice and short, and I just had 1 lap just so that we didn't end up going endlessly round and round. I also picked one of the weaker cars so that it was more likely to explode when it was shot at, and I also tried to bang into things on my way around to make the car slightly weaker for when the missile hit me. It was a little bit on the fiddly side and did take me a couple of attempts to actually get it to work or get it to work right, but I do really hate these type of trophies that are just completely based on luck. At what point would that actually happen physically, actually in a race? You may have to actually race with the AI loads of times and that may never happen. So this is the kind of trophy that I'm not really a fan of, where it's just completely left down to actual luck or an event to happen that may never happen or happen once every 1,000 times. But I managed to figure it out, and I also unlocked the arms race trophy as a bonus, fusing 1,000 power-ups. Again, I thought this might be a little bit of a grind at the end of the game, but luckily I got there just before I had to grind the rest of the game, to be fair, so that allowed me to use clean race for the 100 races, which I'll talk about later, gives me a very good advantage. Now for the trophy I've talked about quite a lot during this game, Demolition Man, so that's just for winning one destruction derby. So again, I chose the grinder as the setting, and I chose a really heavy vehicle which I thought would allow me to take more impact and also deal more impact during the destruction derby, which I guess worked. As you can see, I'm going to play the whole destruction derby sequence. I think I do get a little bit lucky on a couple of occasions during this destruction derby, where I managed to get the electricity kind of EMP type weapon, and a few people seem to be around me. I tend to score quite a few points from those, so that'll be my advice, is if you do get those weapons like the missile or the EMP, try and make the best use of them, or try and drive around and have a few people kind of follow you around on the minimap in the bottom left. So somehow after 30 seconds I've already got 7 kills, which is more than I managed in most of my other destruction derbies put together. So like I said, a little bit of luck was needed, but some really good strikes with the EMP will help kill 2 or 3 opponents in one go, and that's really important to get those multi-kills in order to progress. The amount of kills you needed does really vary. Sometimes it was as few as 3 and I'd got 2, for example, on one of the games I played previously, and then on one of these games I played, the opponent had 10 and I'd got about 5 or 6 and was kind of expecting to be in first place and win, but yeah, I wasn't. So it can vary wildly, so I just play as many times as you need to unlock this trophy. I guess eventually you'll get the luck that's required or the skill in order to get this one completed. So I end up with a total of 10 wrecks, and the nearest competitor ends up with a total of 6, so well clear there, but I was worried for a minute in time that I wouldn't actually get the trophy and unlock that for this time, and it would take me a lot longer, but thankfully it didn't, so I'm all happy. The final trophy in the game will be to win 100 of any event. I guess that means just win 100 events, of not specifically win 100 of a specific event, as I definitely didn't do that. So the advantage here is I used the nursery theme again, but I used the fastest car, and also I reduced it to 1 lap easy and used clean race. Now the reason why this helps you so much is there are no weapons able to be used, which means that any of the track obstacles also don't work. So on this particular track there is kind of an octopus thing that puts its tentacles out and can obviously throw you off or squash you. That doesn't work on a clean race, and therefore it gave me the best chance to complete a race in the minimum amount of time possible. So around 40 seconds per race completion. And you'll see the trophy unlock now. Thank you for watching this How To Trophies video. Hope to see you again soon, and hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you.